Hello.
Hello.
Welcome back to Metal Gear University.
We are back.
Thank you for understanding our bi-weekly setup. I do miss the weekly podcast, but what can you do? We only have so much time in the day.
We have things that we want to do, you know.
Man,
we love this, but we have lives, man.
No, it's hard to fit everything in. But we make sure we fit this in. Our schedules are jam-packed.
Yeah, no, I salute the people that do a podcast every single week. There are some that do a podcast every day.
There's people who do that? Who?
Well, like news podcast types, where like they have to be on it all the time.
Yeah, that's a commitment. I mean, now that Tom has showed me the back end of like how to edit clips and all this, it's a lot of work.
It takes time.
It's a labor of love.
It takes time.
No, but don't let us kind of dissuade you. Is that a word? The opposite of persuade?
That's a word, yeah.
If you have an idea for a podcast and whatever, do it. It's fun. A lot of podcasts I listen to are like podcasts that people have been on Twitch and like friends with. So like Time Wanderer, big shout out to Time Wanderer, who has a podcast called The Retro Breakdown. There is a podcast called Talk Horror Podcast, and that's Email Support Jamie that I follow on Twitch. There's some cool people doing cool things.
There's a lot of cool content out there, and I know I just said that it's a labor of love to get these things polished, but if it's something that you're passionate about, it's labor that you honestly don't mind doing. It's oddly enough for me, I kind of find it like meditative to like take out the little that we do.
Are you going to take that one out or?
No, that one's staying.
You don't know how many. I didn't want to talk. Why would you mention that?
Here's the thing. No, both Kay and I, we are notorious, and if I kept them in...
There's people here, do not do it again. People here who are like, I hate that.
I'm sorry.
Tom did it twice.
Okay, I promise that's the last one. But every time I edit one of these things, I'm always tempted to compile all of them together and then just make it one singular clip.
That's disgusting. No, it's stuff like this where you don't realize how many ticks you have. Like Tom and I realize so many things about ourselves where we're like, why didn't you say anything earlier?
It's like, it doesn't bother me. You don't notice it until you edit yourself, and then you're like, God, why do I talk like that? But it's fine. It's honestly fine.
It's part of the craft, right?
Yeah.
It's part of learning. As for people who do live podcasts, it must be years of training and doing this that they understand how to talk a certain way.
Yeah, and I'm sure once you do it for a while, you train yourself to have your podcast voice in a sense. Like you train yourself not to do those tics while you're doing a podcast.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Hopefully I get there because, man.
I feel like we'll both get there.
I hope so. That'd be fun. Yeah, because I'm thinking like in the future, whether we do a new podcast after this one or whatnot, it's fun. I'll definitely keep doing it. But wait, I want to definitely talk a little bit more about podcasts because I want to touch on our Spotify Wrapped, but we didn't even introduce ourselves.
I thought we did.
Did we? We said welcome back.
Oh yeah, we just said hi.
Yeah. I'm Kay.
I am T.
And you may know us as TK&M on Twitch and other spaces, but we are your lovely host for Metal Gear University. Again, not historians, not experts.
We're barely experts, and we're barely professional.
We are just here in the school with you.
We just kind of stumbled into the AV room, and we're just kind of going wild.
We're like a little this is like a side project we're doing for a class, like an AP.
I kind of like that.
I like the little canon we have. But thank you again for hanging out. And I wanted to touch base on our Spotify Wrapped. I mean, not ours specifically, because mine was really embarrassing. But
now everyone wants to know.
Mine, I say it's embarrassing because it really looks like I listened to one band all year. I'm a big fan of New Jeans. It is a K-pop group. And I was like, okay, that makes sense. I was a big fan this year. But the top 5 songs, 4 of them were from one album that New Jeans did. And I said, damn.
I mean, in your defense, New Jeans released fucking bangers this year.
Thank you. You say
every single that they released was like, damn, that hits.
Okay, you see, and Tom is very friendly and like so sweet, and he will humor me when I'm like, can you listen to this K-pop song? I have no one to talk to about it. And you'll be like, that was cute, or you'll be like, that was good. So I appreciate your honesty.
Yeah, I mean, I know I'm not the target demographic for K-pop, but I do like a couple of songs There are a couple of like BTS songs that I like. I like New Jeans a lot. I like a lot of their stuff.
Yeah.
I'm a fan of ITZY.
ITZY, yeah. Tom's a big fan of the girl groups.
Yeah. I like Mamamoo.
Mamamoo, yeah. You see the girl. Tom has. Oh, yeah. There's one girl.
I'm a Hawassa stan. Hawassa, if you're listening, please.
Please. You didn't give a chance?
No.
I mean, you gotta shoot your shot.
I know.
So for those who don't know who Hawassa is, Google her first name is Hwasa, and she is just talented, just gorgeous. We went to see a concert. I dragged Tom with me, and Tom was like, "I love her."
I like that one.
She was very sexy. She was very okay. We're going. Sorry, it's a Hawassa.
This is a Metal Gear podcast. I promise.
Metal Gear podcast. Anyway, what I wanted to say was people have reached out to us to show us their Spotify Wrap because Spotify Wrap also lists your top podcasts, and we were a top podcast for a few people.
Like, I would be like honored and very surprised if we were like one.
It said we were the #1 podcast for 6 people.
And that's incredible.
I cannot believe 6 people. I was like, what? 6?
Yo, this thing's like a month old.
No, I'm like, thank you. And then we were like top 10 for 20 people.
And here's the thing. Look, I mean, it's not us. It's definitely not me. I don't listen to us. At least not like that.
That's kind of messed up.
No.
You don't trust us?
No.
You don't believe in us?
It's just, I'm here recording it right now. Why don't I?
No, but that means, I hear what you're saying, that people are listening to it over and over, which it blows my mind. I'm just so grateful. And I know people are like, Crystal, shut the fuck, because I'm always like, thanks everybody, every episode. I just want to say thank you. Mm-hmm. If you have it on your top list and you want to send it to us, DM us on TikTok and Instagram, because I just want to see it on people's pages. And also, too, I'm curious to see what other people are listening to. Yeah. I need new podcasts to listen to. Yeah, same here. No, I definitely need to get new podcasts to listen to. Yeah, because you're just depressing 24/7. Sounds like daily. The funny thing is, like, I know I have like a lot of like fun Metal Gear stuff, but like, on my walk to work, I listen to like the most depressing news all the time, and I'm like, I come home angry at the world. Tom's like, if I could just stay within this house, everything would be okay. I'm like, we can't do that. I literally say that. I say that like at least 3 times a week. And then you play Metal Gear, the most political game. The most politically charged thing. Like, it's like I walk into these things. I mean, you kind of like it. But also you do need a break. You do need some like pop culture. You listen, thankfully. I need levity. You also put me onto the Kojima frequency. Yeah, Kojima frequency's cool. Metal Gear Resurrection. That's our dude. Yep. Sorry. I was going to say, I do dabble in Kojima frequency and Metal Gear Resurrections. They just don't, and this is nothing on them. They just don't upload as frequently as my depressingly political podcasts. The depressing stuff updates like all daily. The time. And then them, they're working, they do weekly or bi-weekly, and you're like, please help me. Please, I'm in a desert of depression. Please. But no, we love suggestions. I feel like every once in a while on Twitter, I'm like, does anyone have merch or like a podcast that I could? Because I like to wear. I would like to begin wearing people's merch on stream, just like my stream outfits, and then podcasts. I listen to 2 people's already, so we need more levity. I want to be able to support people like the support I feel that people are giving us. Yeah, same. But that was it. I just wanted to make sure I mentioned that. Thank you for listening to our this is a Metal Gear podcast, but thank you for listening to our little Hawassa /Spotify /K-pop intro. This is what everybody tunes in for. These first 10 minutes. Then they just tune off. Other than that, Tom, I hope you're doing well. I'm doing okay. Good. I'm doing well as well. Been busy. December now, and I feel like I'm not ready for like holiday shopping and getting into the the grind. But I always tell myself every year that I'm going to do something in November. And then November hits, and then November goes. And then it's December 20th, and I'm like, what the hell am I doing? And then we're like, okay, are there any parties coming up? Who's going that we have to buy for? Like, that's our MO every year. And not that we don't buy gifts for people, it's just more so like, okay, who are we seeing soon? We buy for them first, and then I'll see someone in January.
Yeah, who are the people we've seen in January and February? And then we'll be like, hey, it's belated.
Or like we just know we can pace our gifts for later.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyway, let's go on to some good, happy, fun times like Metal Gear Solid 2.
It is fun. I have a lot of fun playing this game.
No, this is going to be probably a 4-parter, 5-parter.
It's definitely one of the more complex games that Kojima's ever made.
One of the games of all time.
It is one of the games of all time. If it wasn't as what's the word? If it didn't need to be so I hesitate to say propped up by the first game, this would be like the best game in the series.
Oh.
In my opinion.
Oh, let's go into that. So let us begin our discussion on Metal Gear Solid 2. But
yeah,
before we jump in, you know what time it is.
That's funny. I actually forgot this time.
What time is it, Tom?
Hammer time? Pop quiz time. It's pop quiz time.
And now, on to the pop quiz. Tom. T.
Yes.
I, quote unquote, have prepared 5 questions for you, of which you had no part in helping creating.
No.
No.
I have no part in creating any of these questions nor discussions.
I will ask you the questions one by one.
Okay.
You must answer them correctly.
Yes.
Or suffer the consequences.
What's the consequence?
I wish I could do like that. I wish I could do a good impression of King Ramses. Suffer my curse.
Oh my god.
Anyway, so 5 questions. Are you ready?
Okay.
Question number 1. Who was the Secretary of Defense that led the operation?
Ooh. It's everyone's favorite character.
Frequent recurring character.
He's a frequent recurring character. He's a massive part of the lore. I'm stalling only because I know that there might be some people that might be scratching their heads.
Yeah.
I would say that his name is Jim Houseman.
And you would be correct.
Ah, that's incredible. You know, I was just thinking, if Jim Houseman was in Death Stranding, would he be in a house? Or would he be a house? Like, you know how there's like if Dead Man and
Die Heart
Man and Heartman, and it's like those names are like literal. Would Jim Houseman, would he literally be a house?
Or what if it's you go into a house and he talks at you from the window, so you never see him because he never leaves the house?
Ooh, wait. How about this? Jim Houseman uploaded his consciousness into an AI that controls the house.
Ooh.
So he is the house. And he's Jim Houseman. Yo, let me in the fucking room.
Put Tom in the room.
Yo, Death Stranded 3. I got you.
That's just the whole premise. That'd be a cool little, you know what? I like that. But alas, Jim Houseman is stuck only in Metal Gear Solid. He's never mentioned again, from my understanding.
Yeah, no, he had a very short career.
But you are correct.
Yay.
Good job.
Thank you.
On to question number 2. T. What is the canon ending of Metal Gear Solid?
The canon ending, and in my opinion, the worst of the 2, is a hot take for me. I'm sorry. Is that Snake endures the torture, saves Meryl, and they are right off into the sunset together.
So first off, correct. That is the canon ending. What is your favorite ending?
My favorite ending is the one where Snake gives into the torture and Meryl dies. Not because I like Meryl dying. That's sad. It's just that I feel that the talk that he has with Otacon going through Meryl's death and Otacon just losing Sniper Wolf, consoling Snake who just lost Meryl. I feel like it hits more with the story, and I feel like it makes them have like a stronger bond together.
I like too in that ending. That's the ending where it's revealed that the Colonel was actually Meryl's father. That Meryl's mom had an affair with her husband's brother, right?
Yeah, I don't think we touched on that in the 101 episode because we stuck with the canon.
Yeah, but even though this ending isn't canon, I believe it is canon that Colonel is Meryl's father.
Yeah, that is canon throughout the story.
So I do like that reveal. And you don't get it unless you do the,
You got to do both endings to get that little tidbit.
Are there any other endings besides those two?
That's the only two. And I believe it's the only game in the series that has multiple endings.
I wonder why that is.
I don't know.
That's cool. But you are correct.
Thank you.
On to question number 3. How did the DARPA chief die?
The DARPA chief died not from a oddly placed heart attack. That was Decoy Octopus.
Mm-hmm.
The DARPA chief died from a session of torture that Ocelot put him through.
Damn.
Yeah, he went out bad. And he died like days before Snake even got there.
Yeah, I guess their failsafe was having Decoy Octopus play or act as him, because you would think, oh my god, like this is a major player in our plan.
Yeah.
Like, what do we do now? But I guess they had,
Yeah, Decoy Octopus.
Plan B, which is pretty cool.
It's like, thank God we have an Oscar-winning actor in our team.
Putting on blackface. I mean, am I wrong? Decoy Octopus, I think he's... Sorry. He's getting... Am I wrong, though? I think...
I don't know how Decoy Octopus sounds, but I could hear him going like, Robert Downey Jr. did it, okay? He did it, and he's fine. He faced no repercussions.
Everybody else on Fox House like looking at him funny, and they're like, he's like, it's okay, it's part of the plan. Okay, I'm sorry.
And like Liquid's looking at Decoy Octopus going like, how come you have that makeup at the ready?
Why was that shade?
You have that at the ready, Decoy Octopus.
Why was that shade in your bag? Like, why? You apply it pretty well.
Like, it's like you've done this, but you know what, Decoy Octopus, you could do you. It's okay.
Man.
It's all right. Conveniently, we need you for this. So,
but
I got my eye on you.
Because Liquid is many things, but he's no racist. Okay, but anyway, correct. DARPA chief died by torture. Correct. Question number 4. So stupid. Question number 4. Name the Russian mercenary that Liquid was going to meet up with in Shadow Moses.
Liquid Snake was going to link up with Sergei Gerlukovich. Mm-hmm. And he was the head of like a Russian military faction. And with Sergei and the Genome soldiers, they would link up and have like this big fighting force and take on the world.
Oh. And they never got to meet up because...
Yeah, Snake did his thing before Sergei even got there.
Okay.
But that's why they have the Hind D. That was like a gift from Sergei.
Oh, a Russian airship is here. Oh, that makes sense. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And also, you are correct.
Thank you.
Man, it's almost like you wrote these questions.
What do you mean you wrote these questions? I don't know what you're talking about.
I was just... Question number 5. And the last question. True or false, Tom? The third clone of Big Boss is the president. And his name is Plasma Snake.
That's funny. It is both true and false.
On a test, what would you put?
Well, you see, the third clone of Big Boss is the president, but it is not Plasma Snake. It is Solidus Snake. If I recall, I believe Solidus is Latin for gas.
Future Tom, come in, help us out.
Yeah, so I was talking completely out of my ass. The Latin word for gas is gas. So it's the same word. That's not true. I was completely wrong. However, the term solidus, it's in reference to an ancient Roman gold coin that was produced by Constantine in the 4th century, and it was used until the fall of the Byzantine Empire, which lasted until the 15th century. Now, this is a Latin word for solid. So, like, it would be like, oh, this is a solid gold coin. I don't know why solidus means solid. I don't know what that means for the lore or a theme. Your guess is as good as mine. I just learned this myself. All right, that's it. Bye.
Thanks, Future Tom.
Thanks.
So, is it true or false? What would you write in the test?
I guess if I had to choose one, it'd be false.
Exactly. Correct. All right. I think Plasma Snake would be a cool... I think maybe it was too on the nose for like too cool sounding. You know? So maybe that's why it was never used.
Or maybe, what about Gas Snake?
Gas. Or Gaseous?
Gaseous Snake.
Yeah, it doesn't have the same... You said I don't know if it doesn't have the same ring to it because it's new.
Can you imagine Solid Snake going like, gaseous?
That kind of works. Or say like Plasma, like...
Plasma.
That's kind of... I guess, but...
I think gaseous kind of works, I'm not going to lie.
In writing, it doesn't really work, but when you hear it, you're like, okay.
Yeah.
But you're right. It is false. And Tom, you got a 5 out of 5, 100% correct on the test.
Hooray!
Great job, everybody. We imagine you all did the same. We have, we're curious people's scores. I wonder how people are doing on these tests. Because we spoke to M, who is my brother, our friend.
Yeah, he's failing miserably.
He said he's not doing well with these tests. But what I did like, we spoke to him about him listening to the Metal Gear Solid episode, and he was like, yo, Liquid was the man. I was like, you know what?
Liquid is the guy. Liquid is the shit, man.
Liquid was just this force of nature, and his only limitations were in his mind. And Fox Die.
Oh, well, and Fox Die. But here's the thing. If Fox Die was not a factor in Metal Gear Solid, Liquid would have won.
Yep.
He would have beat Solid Snake handily.
Yep. He was there. But yeah. Anyway, we hope everyone's doing well the pop quiz. Tom, great job.
Thank you.
And now, let's get going with the episode. So, Tom, Metal Gear Solid 2 is a really pivotal moment in this series.
It definitely is. In terms of narration, even, like... You good?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm just so, scared of discussing this game.
In terms of, narration and, marketing, this game was massive.
We are being honest and saying that we were nervous in beginning researching and studying for this episode because this game is heavy.
Yeah.
And like you said, in development, history, and then just the topics it covers.
Yeah, because, I mean, anybody could just talk about the plot of this game.
Anyone could, you could just read a Wikipedia article.
But, to truly understand the impact that this game had at the time, it's truly one of those, you had to be there moments.
And you were there.
I was there.
And that's why I think for this episode, we want to do a kind of, this is going to be a many-part series for this game, for Metal Gear Solid 2. We wanted to have this episode, I wanted to talk in the first half a little bit about the development history. I also really want to get your point of view on what you remember. And then we were going to go into the first part of the game, which is called the Tanker. So when you start Metal Gear Solid 2, when you start the game after you're picking your difficulty level, the game is surprisingly or oddly split up. You can pick Tanker or Tanker Plant, right?
Yeah. I mean, on the more modern versions, for example, on the Master Collection, you could do that off the jump. But when you bought the game way back when on the PlayStation 2, that wasn't an option.
Oh, forgive me. I'm sorry. But I guess it's good to mention because people might be playing this now.
Yeah.
Interesting. So yeah, I guess you can totally skip the Tanker section if you wanted to.
I suppose, but why the fuck would you want to do that?
Right? Or no, you can just, I'm wrong. You could play just a Tanker and then stop there. But Tanker Plant, you could play the whole game. It's interesting. Interesting. But again, we want to begin with the development, and then we're going to lead into talking about just the Tanker portion of the game for this episode. So development history. Tom and I did some research, and we kind of were trying to find articles from back in the early 2000s and also look at old game forums.
Oh, it's great. I mean, it takes a little bit of digging to find these things, but once you find a forum that dates back all the way to 2000, I feel like I'm reading ancient tomes in Alexandria or something. It's incredible.
No, we found one from 2001. I think it was December 2001.
Mhm.
And the title was like, WTF. What was that ending? And it's like, it's just so funny thinking about people experiencing it live and then running to like an IGN forum, you know?
And think about this. Back then, they played that game. They were like, "What the fuck is this?" And then they turn on their computer. That takes on like 20 minutes to boot up.
Yep.
Get that.
Maybe the little AOL, you're like, log on.
I have to talk
Get
about
off the
this.
phone. You know? And it's like, you're just holding that anger until you can like type it out and you're waiting for responses. But development history. So Metal Gear Solid was released in November of 2001, I believe.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, it was released in November.
So that is off the top of my head. You see, I'm a real fan. So it was released in 2001, and it was expected because Metal Gear Solid was a massive success.
Huge hit.
Huge.
Smash hit.
And Kojima, again, he, you know, in making Metal Gear Solid, he very much was kind of left to his own devices. No one really expected it to be successful.
At least on that scale.
He, from interviews I looked at and old stuff, old articles, he was very much like, he was kind of like given free realm to do whatever. So he kind of had that same expectation with this game. Like, I know what I'm doing. It's a success. Like, let me rock, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I think a part of his plan, too, was to keep things very close to his chest. And he's still like that to this day.
Yeah, no, he loves... I feel like there's like a story arc that Kojima does in development where he announces the game and he spends like 2 or 3 years just fucking with the audience. And then he releases the game. You know what I mean? Like the first half of the game is him just teasing little pictures, teasing little things. I think he genuinely loves to see his fans pick apart everything.
I do think maybe not now, but back in the day, I bet he was like looking at what people were posting, what people were saying, you know?
100%.
And this game was no different. So first off, I found an old article where it was kind of like this development plan for Metal Gear Solid 2. It was translated to English. And it basically kind of laid out his first initial thoughts for Metal Gear Solid 2. And one thing I wanted to say or pick out from that was there were 2 major themes that he wanted to get across in this game. The first theme is, 1, what do we leave, pass on to our children, the future generations? So that was the first theme. Mm-hmm. And in the document I found, it was bold. So like that was, I guess, his main...
That's like the mission statement of the game.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what do we pass on?
And it ties into like thinking about Liquid and Snake in the first game.
Yeah.
You know?
It ties into the whole like genetic aspect that they were talking about there. And I feel like One Pass gave a little bit of it, but it's hammered more into where you could pass on more than your genes. You could pass on ideas.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what this game, I feel, lent into a lot.
Heavy. It's like a little bit more than just like nature versus nurture. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that idea, like you said, of passing on ideas, a sub theme that he wanted to get across was the digitization of the military and everyday life.
Damn.
If that's not
Damn.
that might as well be bold as well for this game.
Yo, okay. Kojima has a reputation of being like a fortune teller.
Yeah, for those who don't know, this is a common meme.
This game is what gave him that title, that reputation. He in 2000, when he was writing this thing, he foresaw the current shitstorm that we see in our everyday internet life today, 20 years before it even happened.
Yeah, and
that's incredible.
No, we'll go into it too because he has it's a lot of commentary. Of course, not just commentary on the military, but we're bringing now the internet into it. Like we're bringing now kind of like back then we were talking about the Cold War. We're a little bit past that now. We're talking about just the interactions between the public, the private sector, the military, country. It's this game is very grand.
Yeah, I think I was looking at a TikTok that Pat stares at from Two Best Friends.
Formerly
Two Best Friends, R.I.P. he was saying that like people don't really consider 2 to be their favorite a lot of the times because in other Metal Gear games, you're fighting against a tangible threat. And like stop the bomb.
Yeah.
You know, stuff like that. But in 2, it's like stop the idea. And that's harder to grasp for some people.
That's fair. And I think too this game and you'll come to find out for those who are new, it kind of also subverts what you
yeah.
subverts what you were expecting, but also what Metal Gear Solid is.
Yeah. This game fucking God, this game does a lot to fuck with your head.
Yo, the amount of cursing you can I can't begin to describe how Tom looks right now.
I look frazzled. I know I look frazzled.
But you love this game so much.
I love it. No,
you're very passionate about it.
Here's the thing, like in terms of like story and like what it has to say, it's my favorite Metal Gear Solid game.
I like that. And I think part of it too, and Tom, I want to ask you, I kind of want to interview you in a second, is that, you know, with Kojima being very cryptic, you know, in interviews, both through like written articles and like video interviews, I think he wanted to keep things close to his chest so that everything's revealed to you all at once. You're given the task of digesting everything at once, which is why you have forum posts like WTF. Like if things were sprinkled out, you'd have more times to formulate your own ideas. You'd have more time to like digest and you know, talk with people, understand it. Mm-hmm. But everything is thrown at you and you're like, I don't have the capacity.
You're just overloaded.
So there's 2 things before I interview Tom. There's 2 things I took from interviews with Kojima that I thought were hilarious. It kind of share his personality, but also the little information that people were getting.
Oh, this dick.
So this is...
I'm sorry for cursing so much, guys. I'm sorry.
So this is an interview. I should have put the year, but this is early 2000s.
I remember when we looked it up. I think it was like literally like 2000. Okay,
I'm going to look it up. I have it here. It is, let's see. I think it's 2000. 2001.
Okay.
Whole June.
So like right before the game came out.
Right before the game came out. So it's from IGN. These are both from IGN interviews. The IGN insider asked Kojima, after watching a trailer that was released for Metal Gear Solid 2, they ask, one new effect we've seen in the trailer is rushing water and Snake jumping into the water. Can you tell us how that will be used in the game? Kojima responds, the game takes place on a ship that is sinking, so obviously the water plays a big part.
This smug man. Wow.
And that was it. They move on.
Wow.
Another question in that same interview goes, now that you're going into the final stretch of making the game, what do you think of your development experience so far? Are you still happy with your choice of PlayStation 2 for a development platform? That's a very, like, on the nose question. I feel like you can get in trouble with that answer. Mm-hmm. To which Kojima responds, it isn't the hardware's problem. It is our problem. We will never find hardware that can live up to our expectations. Kojima, what are you planning? What do you want? You know?
No, I don't know. No one knows what he wants. To this day, I don't know.
He's like, what? I think I'm telling you, every time a new console comes out, this man probably goes, what is the limit? What can I do?
What are the specs so I know how to push it right before it explodes?
What is the absolute most I can do with this console? But that's just like the kind of stuff that Kojima was on. And now, Tom, I turn to you.
Okay.
Because thankfully you were around to watch all the trailers, to like see what was happening from all these interviews and forum boards as they were happening.
Yeah.
You were there. You were on the forums yourself.
I was there. I was little baby me.
Can you give me like kind of like I'm curious about like from how you felt after Metal Gear Solid to hearing that Metal Gear Solid 2 was announced.
Okay. Now I was around. I was active in the community. However, I was still on the younger end of this demographic. So I was more of a lurker.
Yeah, I think you were probably 11, 12, 13. You were in that range.
Yeah. But at the time, I remember that there was this really, really famous E3 trailer that dropped. You can see it on YouTube. And it is basically like a trailer for Metal Gear Solid 2 that has like such like incredible like orchestral themes, and it has like these crazy good looking 3D renders of Solid Snake and these Russian soldiers.
Is this the one that he edited himself?
Yeah.
Because Kojima is to this day still does that, doesn't he?
Yeah, he likes to edit his own trailers.
Okay.
And it just showed like all this incredible detail, and it was said at the time, it's like, yeah, all of this is captured in real time. These are the character models in the game. This is how the game will look. And then you look at this thing, and I know that like it looks like a little janky nowadays, but at the time in 2000, you saw that. Like imagine playing Metal Gear Solid, and then you're like, oh, let's see the trailer for the sequel, and it looks fucking like real life. It looks like a real movie.
No, I mean, I think the big thing is like the facial animations.
It was incredible.
You know, I think with Metal Gear, if, you know, the polygons, like when you looked at the model for Snake in game, you barely see eyes or his mouth. It's, you know, it's very simplistic.
It's a block, more or less.
This one is like, we have hit peak gaming.
Yeah, like you see his face. You see definitions in his cheeks. He has a stubble.
You can see anger, sad, like happiness. Like you see, you know.
It's incredible. Honestly, to this day, like the details. I mean, obviously, I'm not saying it looks like God of War or nothing. I'm just saying like it holds up to today's standards of like facial expression. Mm-hmm. You know. And another thing, it only showed Snake. It only showed the tanker. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. And when I mean that, I mean this when I say to people who are new to this series, people did not know about Raiden.
You see that?
At all.
That, it's hard for me to believe that, but wait. For those who don't know and are new to the series, in Metal Gear Solid 2, in the first part of the game, the tanker that we're talking about today, you play as Solid Snake for the entirety of that chapter. The rest of the game is you are playing as a character called Raiden.
Yeah.
And that was unknown until you popped in the game when you bought it.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me more.
I want you to do me a favor.
There's no way. Are you serious right now?
I have with me the manual,
expose.
The manual of Metal Gear Solid 2. And I'm going to open up to the character.
There's no way. I didn't even think about this.
Try to find Raiden. Is Raiden there?
Wait a minute. There's no way.
Raiden's not there. Raiden is nowhere to be found in this manual.
I'm looking. There's Otacon. I don't even see Snake in here. Olga, Revolver, Ocelot, Colonel. Okay.
That's it.
Wait, Snake's not even in here either.
Well, Snake is in here, but he's in here in like the little pictures.
But that's...
And then when you have like little...
No, but that is interesting that they would even... Did they mention him in the... Because I'm looking at the manual and just looking at the... It gives you kind of like a little intro on like, oh, the tanker chapter. What happens here? Wow.
Interesting, right?
No. And there's something that you told me that I want you to relay here about the trailers. That for the game.
Oh yeah, the trailers straight up lie to you. There are points in if you look at some of these Metal Gear Solid 2 trailers where Snake is doing these actions and he's in these areas,
fighting certain people
and being in certain rooms of the game, that you come to find out that is Raiden's chapter. Those are bosses that Raiden fights.
Solid Snake never fights them.
Literally lying to you.
I think, like, and that's just one of the things about this game. I don't think, when was the last time, or when is the most recent time we've had a switch like that in a game? Like, you have twists and turns in a game, but to have a game like the team lied to you.
Yeah, 100%. I feel like that the only other example I could think of, and it's not even on the same level, but in Metal Gear Solid.
This content has been redacted for spoiler purposes.
Okay, yeah.
It's the same twist, but like it's almost like in reverse where. Yeah, I'll stop. Sorry.
You can't see me, but I'm like putting my hand by my neck. Like, enough. We'll leave it for then.
Yeah, sorry.
But it's another Metal Gear game where it's a situation like that.
Yeah.
But sorry for my chair squeaky. But I think something like that too is. I think at the end of this podcast series, we'll talk about. I mean, this like Metal Gear Solid 2 series of podcast episodes. We'll talk about like the reception for Raiden and like that reveal, how people felt.
Uh-huh.
But just again from your recollection, the trailers you saw, all the development, there was no mention or visual of Raiden, was there?
No, nothing. Not even a hint. Nothing.
That is, it's wild to me that you show me the trailers and it's like Snake fighting people, and you're like, that's no.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we will go more in depth on what that really means in this podcast. But Tom, I think it is time. Let us begin with just a Tanker episode.
I would love to talk about the Tanker.
So we see him on the GW Bridge. That's by us in New York.
In New York, baby.
He's in a cape. Or he had, a
poncho.
Sorry. I just like to see the cape flying behind him because he's running. And you see him, he got speed on him. He's running on the bridge. I'm like, what's he gonna do? Jumps off the GW into the river, the Hudson River.
Well, he has a bungee jump.
You,
He has a bungee, not a bungee jump, a bungee cord.
so it's attached to him while he's running, I guess?
Perhaps, maybe he like attaches it real quick.
Before he jumps?
I don't know. Don't think about it.
Don't think about it. So he's sorry, my fault. He's a bungee cord attached to him. He jumps off the GW because his goal is to sneak onto this ship, this tanker.
Yeah. He lands on the tanker in some sick homage to Terminator.
Yeah, you said he was inspired by Terminator 2?
I'm almost 100% positive. Because, like, if you look at the scene where the Terminator is teleported back in time, like, the way that the lighting is and, like, the position that Snake is in, it's almost identical to the Terminator.
And on this scene, too, was the Terminator also invisible and electric? Because in the scene, like, when Snake lands, there's, like, electricity shooting at him, and he, like, has an invisibility cloak, too.
I don't think they had, like, an invisibility option, but, like, it was the same effect. It was, like, electricity and all that shit.
And his suit?
In the Terminator?
Oh, I was
What are
saying,
we talking about here?
Sorry. I was saying, so Snake's suit looks like it's invisible and has electricity.
Yeah, well, at the end of Metal Gear Solid, Otacon gives Snake the stealth camo that he was wearing throughout the game.
I see.
I guess that could be seen as part of the canon, whether Meryl lives or dies.
Okay. And it has electric powers as well?
I assume it's powered by electricity.
Okay.
I don't know. Don't think about it.
I know.
Same with the bungee cord. Don't think about it. All right? It's cool.
So this Terminator 2 inspired opening happens, and we're told that Snake has to infiltrate this tanker. We're told that through a codec between Snake and Otacon that there is a Metal Gear on this tanker.
Yeah, they say that they got intelligence. Otacon got intelligence from the Pentagon, stating that the Marine Corps is developing this high-tech Metal Gear to respond to all the Metal Gears that are flooding the market right now.
And the reason they're flooding the market is because homeboy Ocelot released the specs on the black market.
Because why not?
Because why not?
Why not? He likes to start trouble, you know?
He's a little,
And what's interesting to me is that Otacon tells Snake that every state, group, and .com has their own version of Metal Gear.
I mean, if you could make this giant mech that can launch missiles, why wouldn't you?
Can you imagine, like, Amazon?
He would be the first.
Like, I can imagine Amazon. I could...
Facebook Meta?
Metal Gear.
Oh, too close. Allegedly. They'd be the first to make one.
I don't know. I got my eye on Elon Musk. I feel like he would jump on that fucking bandwagon real quick.
He's probably trying to do it right now.
I'm just trying to build a Metal Gear.
So mean.
I could be mean to Elon Musk. He's a jerk.
Oh, I know. I'm just still saying it's mean. I don't care about him.
Okay.
But the cool thing with this opening is that it's as cinematic as we saw in Metal Gear Solid. So the same way that Snake in Metal Gear Solid was on that elevator and the title screen pops up and there's like that orchestra playing in the back, we get the same thing here.
It's incredible shit.
When Snake is revealed. And like you were mentioning earlier, the models are so detailed from what we've come to see in gaming and in the series that it's just like, this is peak.
This is peak. No, like they were so confident in the details of these models. There is a shortly into this cutscene that we're describing to you guys, Snake hears a helicopter, and the camera has the fucking cojones to zoom into the ear of Snake.
Wow.
And you see, they're like, we modeled the ear. It looked like an ear.
I didn't even think about that. That's wild. To me, what was jarring was the codec animations.
Oh, yeah.
In Metal Gear Solid and other games, you went from like a PNG to kind of like a PNG like tuber model where like it's just like the mouth moving. This one, you could tell it's a fully rendered character. You see their face moving. It's like a lot more detailed in the codec animations themselves.
Yeah, it's really impressive.
You know, and it's cool because you also see Snake and Otacon are together.
They're doing it.
They're doing stuff. We find out in the opening little monologue that Snake and Otacon are not a part of the military anymore. They're working solo dolo. Like they are.
Yeah.
They're in the private sector. No.
Yes, they are a group called Philanthropy, and their mission is to rid the world of Metal Gears, plain and simple.
And they're recognized by the UN. Like they're actually like non-profit type of.
Yeah. Well, in Snake's own words, they're recognized, but still fringe.
And through part of this, and you know, fringe, you say that because Otacon was able to hack into the Pentagon to find this information about this tanker with the Metal Gear. And so he's just doing his hacker boy stuff. He's his cool scientist thing. And it's here where we find out that there is the Metal Gear is an amphibious Metal Gear under Marine Corps jurisdiction.
Yeah, and that it's also an anti-Metal Gear.
What does that mean?
That means it's a Metal Gear designed to fight Metal Gears.
Oh, I didn't even think about that. I thought it was like the opposite of Metal Gear. I'm silly. But it's so it's trying to be the head honcho.
Yeah, like this, like the Marines are making a move to be like, we're going to be the dudes that end up on top.
Damn. So, and again, we're getting a lot of like, was it expose, intel in the beginning?
Yeah.
They're name dropping Naomi, which is cool. They're name dropping Mei Ling.
Oh, you want to know a cool little Easter egg? If you save the game like 10 times in the tanker chapter, Mei Ling makes a cameo.
That's cute. Oh, I want to see that.
Yeah.
That's cute. So, like, yeah, if we don't do that, they're just mentioned by name. So, for example, Otacon says that he's still in contact with Mei Ling. She's doing something called... She's working with, like, something called the Natick Flashware.
Diverting toy...
Yeah, she's diverting...
Something.
She's working with Natick Flashware, and she's diverting toys from the SSCEN, which is described as the U.S. Army Soldier Systems Center. Future Tom, can you explain a little bit more about what all of that is?
So we were close. Otacon is saying that he wants to get in touch with Mei Ling about that new Natick flashware. Now, Natick is the location of SSCEN. It's located in Natick, Massachusetts. And the SSCEN, they more or less make things for the military around rations and advanced soldier systems. So they would be responsible for like little computers and beep boops that soldiers could wear, and then they make their food. That's it.
Thanks, Future Tom.
Because it's mentioned once.
Yeah, and it's kind of funny. It's one of as much as I like to delve into these games, for some reason that was one of the things I just for some reason never bothered to look into. I was just in my head. I heard just like, oh, Mei Ling is stealing military equipment. You know what I mean?
Like, okay, Mei Ling.
Like Mei Ling's doing something. I don't know, but she's doing something.
But I'm curious to know. So again, fringe operation by Solid Snake and Otacon, and through philanthropy, they feel entitled to go and stop these Metal Gears. It's good people work. You know, they're they from their trauma in Metal Gear Solid, they rid the world, and also maybe stop Ocelot.
Yeah. Ocelot's been like their nemesis, more or less.
Yeah, by putting everything on the internet, he was a real menace. So Snake is sneaking on again, being a fringe organization, and this operation. It's very much like you cannot be seen. Otacon says you just have to get intel, get photographic evidence, and get out of here.
Mm-hmm.
While Snake and Otacon are talking about the mission, while Otacon is briefing Snake sees a chopper come in and start attacking the people on the tanker.
Well, not the choppers themselves.
The choppers, people come out from the choppers.
Yeah. Well, I want to be thorough.
The chopper brings people who come out of there and drop onto the tanker, and they start fighting the people who were on the tanker. And Snake's like, those Russians? And Otacon's like, how do you know that? Snake's like, that haircut is not military grade. So he's just a worldly man.
No Marine barber touched that head of hair.
But yeah, so Snake is again shown that he's not the only person involved in this mission. Every mission he goes into is never simple.
It's never, and on this occasion, he literally just got there.
He just got there.
Got there.
He's mad lucky too to be able to actually, like, those people are trying to sneak on. They're not doing a good job.
No.
You know what I mean? So like Snake is there sneaking on. They're coming in and taking over. So it's Russians. It's a Russian group coming in, and this was a Marine Corps tanker. So
yeah,
this is a lot.
And the Marines, since they were once again they just passed the GW, so they're in New York Harbor, so they don't want to look like Marines. So they're disguised more or less as civilians. They're unarmed. They're just there. So the Russians that come in just make quick work of them.
But it's already interesting that like the Marines are in like kind of like civilian type clothing. Like there a lot of secret stuff going on, you know? So you go in, you're trying to get evidence that this prototype is ready or whatever it is that is happening with this anti-Metal Gear.
So Snake infiltrates this tanker. On top of getting photographic evidence, they want to know how close it is to completion. And Otacon tasks Snake of finding the route that this tanker is supposedly going to take.
I see, okay.
And by finding the route, Otacon can make assumptions. Snake finds this route in the crew, not the crew quarters, the head of the ship. The head of the ship, where the captain is. I forget what it's called. He finds the terminal and finds out that by the route that Metal Gear must be more or less close to completion.
I wonder how he knows that. I guess it's
just by where the testing arena is, or something along those lines.
And I mean, he already hacked stuff from the Pentagon, so it's probably he has.
Yeah.
Maybe it was a plan, and they're going according to the plan.
Yeah. And while he is talking to Otacon about, potential stages of development that Metal Gear is on, Snake notices someone talking on the radio just outside this room. And he heads over.
And it's this woman who is talking to what we find out is her father about their plan with the ship. And he's basically, tell me if I'm wrong, but he's like, you need to go, like leave. There's a helicopter coming to get you. You need to leave.
Yeah, he's begging her to go. And she's like, nah, man, I want to stay with my homies.
This is my unit. I was born with them, doing her whole, like, I'm part of the team. But we find out that she's pregnant.
Yeah.
And the guy she's talking to is her father.
Yeah, it's like, need I remind you, you're carrying my grandchild?
And she's like, I refuse. And so, we were overhearing it, and then Snake just chooses to ambush her. Because, of course, they took over.
Yeah. Oh, also, they also confirmed that someone called Shalashaska has landed. And that he's the only one that could pilot Metal Gear because he went through VR training.
So, okay. We don't know who Shellis Asuka is right now.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll find out. Snake ambushes her. And she's not a rookie. This is not no Meryl situation. This woman, who we find out, her name is Olga. She's not no rookie.
No.
So she got her hands up. She got the major thing with her. She got the hairy armpits.
Yeah, that was big back in the day.
She's, Snake has her hands up at gunpoint. He's like, throw the gun overboard. I see you got a knife. Throw the knife overboard. And she's like, hairy arm. She's like, she says one of my favorite phrases in the series. It's like, oh, you Americans, you shoot women too. Like, I was like, oh, she got a little spice to her.
Yeah.
But the thing with her is that, again, she's no rookie. She catches Snake off guard as they're talking, and she hits him with another gun that she has hidden behind her back, essentially.
Yeah.
It doesn't hit Snake, but
he dodges in time. And she's like, wow, I give you credit, man. No one's ever dodged that shot.
Cut to the Olga boss fight. And I feel like this fight was showing you, like, the capabilities for the game.
Yes. This fight takes place outside. Mm-hmm. So there's water effects happening, which is a big deal at the time, believe it or not. Mm-hmm. This fight also showcases, like, light manipulation in the environment. Like, you're basically divided, and Olga's on her side shooting at you, and you're on your side shooting at her.
Yeah, there's, like, boxes in between the two of you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And Olga is trying to get the jump on you, and she tries to blind you by moving a spotlight, which at the time it's like, ooh, they could do this now? Wow.
She points the spotlight at you and shoots you from that angle so you can't see where she is in front of the spotlight.
Yeah. And in order to continue the fight proper, you have to shoot out the spotlight. And then her next move is to shoot out the tarp.
Yeah, there's a tarp covering the boxes, and when she shoots it, it flaps in the wind and doesn't give you a clear shot of where she is. Mm-hmm. Right?
So you have to shoot at not tape, like
it's just
the rope.
Yeah, the rope holding the tarp to the boxes.
To release the tarp. It's just showing off, like, the PS2 can do all these new little things, which I know it sounds like a duh, of course, nowadays. But at the time, this was a huge deal.
Not only was this game very much important in the realm of the story it was telling, but in its graphics and design,
it really pushed how far that machine can go. It really did.
But you have this fight. Olga is just bad B material. I love to, as with every character we've seen so far in this game, she has this monologue in the beginning of, like, conflict and victory are my parents. I was born on the battlefield in this unit. She's a Metal Gear character.
Yeah, she is. Like, the military is my only identity. This is all I am. Yeah. And I will not think otherwise, because then I will get these dark thoughts.
So what else is new? Join the club, Olga. Yeah. Join the club.
So Snake defeats Olga.
Hooray.
Hooray. Mm-hmm. I don't think we mentioned this up until now. But Solid Snake is not armed lethally. He has a tranquilizer gun.
And it's like a silencer on it too, right?
Yeah, it has a built-in silencer, tranquilizer darts.
Oh, so she's alive.
Yeah, she's fine.
Oh, good. And she's pregnant too.
So don't think no birth defects. I'm sure the kid's fine. Okay. Don't worry about that.
Okay.
Okay. Snake defeats Olga, and as he's standing over her body, just being like, and picking up a gun that she had on her.
Because she's, like, knocked out. She's actually, yeah.
Drone is flying overhead.
A cipher drone?
A cipher drone. That is from the U.S. Army. Interesting. And all it's doing is taking pictures. Oh, my God. So it takes a picture of Snake standing over Olga and zooms away.
So, okay. Just to recap, we're on a Marine Corps tanker ship that got taken over by this Russian group, and now an army drone is taking pictures. Not coming to help, just taking pictures.
Yeah.
Cool. Continue, Tom.
So Snake is like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And he calls Otacon, and he gives him the sit rep. He's like, yo, I don't even know what's going on right now. And Otacon's like, well, we at least ID'd who these people are.
The guy that Olga was talking to, his name is Sergei Galukovich.
And Galukovich was one of the people, as we said in the pop quiz, was one of the people that Liquid was going to link up with at the end of the game in Metal Gear Solid.
Oh, okay. And he was like a GRU colonel? GRU?
Yeah. They were like former Russian military. They're more like a Russian mercenary group nowadays.
I see. Okay. Oh, cool. Interesting. Oh, the plot is thickening? The plot thickens. Interesting. Okay. And then Otacon also reveals, he was like, Snake, I have to admit something to you. I'm like, why would you keep secrets from your man?
Right.
But anyway, he felt guilty. I feel like I do this move a lot too. I'm like, actually, I have something to tell you. So he's like, I got all this intel from an anonymous tip. Snake's like, you're not one to take anonymous tips. Like, what makes you think this is valid? Or like even worth investigating? And Otacon says, so this tip was from someone called EE. And it's a weird coincidence because my younger sister is also called that. That's what I call her, EE. Mm-hmm. She's a sister from another, a half-sister from another mother.
Yeah.
So it's a stepsister. And so Otacon was like, I felt inclined to follow it, but now I'm kind of concerned that maybe this is a trap. And Otacon's like, I'm sorry. Maybe someone wants us there. Please be careful.
And Snake's like, well, I'm already fucking here.
But you know what? This is different from all the other games, in my opinion, because everybody else who's leading Snake is always just like hiding information. Mm-hmm. And Otacon is the first one to be like, I am sorry. Here's what I know and here's why. Like, he apologizes.
He does.
In the beginning of the game, not some end game type.
Yeah, very early on.
I like Otacon. I like their relationship.
Yeah, no, they have a very good relationship with each other.
And also EE, I want to know more about the sister. I'm interested.
Yeah, interesting, right?
Mm-hmm. So you continue navigating the ship.
Yeah, right? You continue navigating the ship. They basically hypothesize that Metal Gear must be in the holds because this is an oil tanker. So it's probably not carrying oil. It's probably carrying the Metal Gear.
And a hold to be at the bottom, right? Like it's like a
deep inside the tanker, like the lowest level.
I see. So it's kind of like a storage area, right?
Yeah.
I see. Okay. And so as you navigate the ship, I did want to point out that there's some cool stuff happening within the ship, graphic-wise, and also like nods to older games. So for example, you go into this one area and you turn a corner and you see this shadow, and it looks like Vulcan Raven from Metal Gear Solid.
Yep.
And all you hear is Snake go like, Raven.
Yeah. If you call Otacon right away too, you get this little optional dialogue where they're like, how is he even alive? What's going on? And I think Otacon's like, you're not even equipped to fight him. And he's like, well, I have to.
And you go in, and it's a small little Vulcan Raven figure, and the light's shining on it to make it look bigger on the wall. It's just a little toy.
It's just a little action figure.
And if you hit it, it's like a little voice, like it's like Vulcan Raven's voice, and it shoots little pellet bullets. It's cute. It's a cute little reveal. That also, can you tell them about the glasses on the ship?
Oh yeah, this is like a fairly well-known Easter egg within the community. But to those who are uninitiated, this game was developed in a time where physics engines weren't a thing. Mm-hmm. So that means if you wanted to change the environment, you had to do it old school style.
You had to animate every part. Any potential change, you had to be animated.
Yes. So they had a bar, and you could shoot bottles.
Yeah, on this ship.
And depending on where you shoot it, it breaks in a certain animation, which is incredible at the time.
They had to animate every potential way you could break the bottle, and they had to do this for every bottle on that shelf.
And at the time, it almost seems like a waste of time because it's almost like at the end of the day, like I feel like 90% of players wouldn't even think about it.
But our man Kojima's like, what is the full capability of this system. Let's do it. That along with the ice cubes.
Yeah, there's ice cubes at the bar, and you could watch them melt in real time, which is so silly to talk about now.
I just wanted to mention it because, again, I feel like this game is just grand.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
No, like, at the time, these effects were, like, top of the line. Like, these sorts of things were like, wow, they really did that, you know?
But thank you, Tom. You continue to navigate the ship, and after some navigation, it doesn't really become a stealth mission anymore because you actually start fighting soldiers, right?
Yeah, you run into like this group no matter what. It doesn't matter what you do. It's a scripted event.
Yeah.
And you get into like this shootout with like a whole bunch of like little soldiers. Snake obviously wins, of course.
Super
Like,
soldier. Come on, he's the best.
Snake is like a genetically modified super soldier. Of course he's gonna win.
But after you win, you go through a door, and this is spooky. You go through the door, and when your door closes, the soldier comes in after you and locks the door, no?
I mean, I would. You kidding me? It's like,
that is true. I was thinking more like, he's going where we need him to go. But it's like, no, don't come back.
To be honest, that's how I always saw it. Because like when he locks it, he gives this sigh like, oh. Like he's like, thank God, I don't have to worry about him.
So, okay, that's funny. We see it differently. But then the other little thing is that Ocelot comes in. And the soldier's like, what are you doing here? Aren't you with the colonel? And Ocelot's like, you'll be joining him soon, comrade.
And then, bang, dead.
He actually shoots him first and then says that, but still. But yeah.
It's for dramatic effect.
He shoots him. So.
Point blank.
Point blank. That's rough. I always felt bad for that soldier. But the twist, there's a lot of twist already happening. A lot of twist. So, of course, Ocelot being Ocelot, he's doing something else. So, it sounds like he's not working with the colonel.
Yeah.
What happens next?
Well, I don't know. We rejoin Snake, and he's in the cargo holds now. All the Marines are listening to a speech that the Marine Commandant is
presenting.
Yeah. They're completely unaware
you're in there.
That not only that you're in there, they're completely unaware that the ship is taken over.
Yes.
They don't even know.
I forgot about that. Yes. So so many layers. And this commandant, his name, do we hear his name now?
Yes, Scott Dolph.
Marine Commandant Scott Dolph, he's speaking. And Otacon tells you, okay, you have 7 minutes. This guy's presenting, I think on Metal Gear, right?
Yeah, he's giving like a speech about Ray and like the world at large, you know?
So it's Metal Gear Ray. So you have 7 minutes, and Otacon's like, look, take the pictures. There is a computer terminal in the back of the room.
He did hacker shit.
Hacker stuff to make it so that you can use that computer to send me the pictures. Also, someone's monitoring this transmission right now. And Snake's like, what? Otacon's like, yeah, the weird thing is no one's stopping us from talking. They're just listening.
And that's just creepy.
Yeah, I feel like if I was Otacon, I'm like, oh, put this man in danger. Like, I'm here like, get out.
My best friend.
Please. So, with this little area, the Marines are, they're soldiers. They're about it. They're watching the Commandant. And you have to sneak behind them while they're watching it. And you can't get caught. Like, even if you get caught by one, they all turn to you and it's, game over.
Yeah, it's one of those not scenes. It's one of those moments in the game where you cannot be seen.
Yeah.
You can't have an inkling. It's pure stealth.
And it's funny because it's, a whole lines of Marines, and they're looking at there's 2 screens in front of them. So at some points that they shift from screen to screen, and you have to make sure, you're at the right spot to not get caught by them.
That's just sadistic. Like, why? Because here's the thing. There are 2 holds that you have to pass before you're in the hold that contains Metal Gear proper. Mm-hmm. The first hold is just a group of soldiers looking at a screen. Easy. The second one is a group of soldiers looking at 2 screens that flip at different points.
Mm-hmm.
Why do that?
To keep them on their toes so
But
that they're
why-
paying attention.
But are those the soldiers that got in trouble? Because the other soldiers in the other room don't have to do that.
That is true. That is true. Well, it gives a problem for players, but of course not canonically for Snake. Snake is able to take pictures of Metal Gear Ray, and he's able to send the pictures to Otacon through the computer. However, as you finish sending these pictures to Otacon, Ocelot comes in and interrupts the Marine presentation.
Fucking showboating.
He says, I have control of the ship. The Marines are like, and then Sergei comes out, all the Russians come in, and they're like holding up the Marines. The Marines, like you said, had no idea about what was happening up above. Ocelot's like, I have Semtex on this boat. I will blow it up.
It's like, yo, whoa, calm down, buddy.
He has the detonator in his hand. And he's like, that's it. And then he goes, I am bringing Metal Gear Ray back. I am returning it. I'm not planning to sell it. And Sergei's like,
huh?
Sergei's like, wait, the plan was to sell it, like bring it back to Russia. We're going to bring Russia back to its former glory. Ocelot's like, nah, I'm bringing it back to the Patriots.
Wait. Oh, yeah, he did say bring it back to the Patriots. I forgot about that. He did.
He did. And then Scott Dolph, the Marine Commandant, is like, the la-la-lu-la-lo?
That's impossible. No. So much shit is being dropped.
Sergei, at that point, he was like, he had, prior to the reveal, he had the Commandant at gunpoint. He was like, the USA takes everything. I'm going to bring back Russia to its former glory. I'm here with Ocelot. And Ocelot's like, psych, pull the rug up from under him. He literally says, Mother Russia can rot for all I care.
Sergei's like, damn.
What the fuck?
It really be the one closest to you.
And then, too, for him, where's Olga? He's like, oh my God, my daughter is upstairs.
I was like, oh no.
He's like, and she's here. She won't leave. Ocelot's like, look, I abandoned Russia during the Cold War. That's it. You know what? Bam, bam. Kills the Marine Commandant, Scott Dolph, and Sergei Galukovich at the same time.
That's cold-blooded, man.
And also this cool little, his gun stuff.
He does little cool flippy flips.
Pew, pew, pews. So, poor Marines, they just like, what? And at this point, the Marines of the Russian group should just join
They should just join forces. No, honestly, like...
It's just them against Ocelot.
Yeah, like, if I was, like, a Marine, and then, like, I just saw, like, Ocelot go, like, I betray you, Sergei, and then I'd be like, so is he on our side? What's going on?
Who do we shoot?
Who am I shooting? Do I shoot the Russians? Do I shoot this old cowboy man?
The fact that he killed them both, they should have teamed up immediately.
That's true.
But I guess the shock or whatever.
Yeah, to be honest, like, all parties are just kind of, like, staring. They're like, what is going on right now?
And before they can, like, digest all this information, Ocelot presses the detonator and the bombs start going off. This man is a menace. Mm-hmm. This man is a menace.
Ship starts to sink.
Mm-hmm. Water's filling up. You see, sadly people start drowning, Ocelot's going to begin a speech. However, for some reason in this cutscene, the camera zooms into his arm.
Mm-hmm.
And we get a flash real quick of Metal Gear Solid 1 Liquid. And then Ocelot screams. Liquid's... tell me why fucking Liquid Snake's voice comes out of Ocelot's body. He says... You see it right there, Tom? Can you do an impression? This is what he says.
Oh, it's been a while, brother. And Snake's like, who are you?
Who else?
You know who I am.
So, Liquid just starts talking. Liquid is... We get no confirmation right now. He's essentially talking from Ocelot's body. And Ocelot, you can, visually kind of tell he's trying to fight it. It's like Liquid's possessing him.
Yeah.
And Liquid is just talking through Liquid Ocelot, through the arm, apparently. Look, they keep zooming in on the arm.
Yeah.
So we can imagine when Gray Fox cut off Ocelot's arm in Metal Gear Solid, I guess
He was just eyeing Liquid that whole game, going like, "That's a nice army."
He took it.
Yeah, right. It's like, look at that forearm.
So Liquid Snake is, again, this man cannot give it up. He starts talking about like just Big Boss again. He's just like Big Boss was in his late 50s when they created his copies, us, and our genetic material is now, what he said, it's now vintage. Like, Liquid, stop.
Shut up. I killed you already. Boy, won't you just die?
And the sink is shit. The sink is sinking, and Ocelot's screaming, trying to fight back, control his body, and Snake's like, what? Like, Snake just, I don't think he even says anything.
I mean, I think he's literally just as confused as we are, and like he just has reaction shots of going like, huh, what? We have a problem. Like, that's it.
You know. And then again, like we said, the ship is sinking, and while Snake, I guess, is, instead of escaping, he's trying to figure out what's going on with Liquid or Ocelot or whatever, and it cuts to like the soldiers' bodies drowning. We see Sergei drowning in the ship along with Scott the Olaf.
Sergei's last words was Olga.
It was?
Yeah.
Oh my god, I didn't realize that.
You kind of feel bad for him in that moment, man.
You know, and this game does a good job of making you feel bad for different people that have complex backstories and motives. But yeah, you know, this all this stuff is popping off, but you know, people are dying. The sink is sinking. The ship is sinking. I'm sorry, everybody.
You have different variations.
I'm sorry.
The ship is singing?
The ship is sinking, okay? While Snake is trying to figure out what's happening with Ocelot / Liquid. I'm going to call him Liquid Ocelot. Snake starts running after Liquid Ocelot instead of escaping. Mm-hmm. Liquid Ocelot jumps into Metal Gear Ray.
Yes.
Again, like we said, it's amphibious, and it's activated. At this point, did Ocelot gain back control of the body? No. So whatever.
It's full Liquid at this point.
It's full Liquid. So Liquid Ocelot jumps into the Metal Gear Ray, and we see it. It gets activated. We see it duck under the water, right? The water level that's filling in the ship. Mm-hmm. And we see it drinking or taking in water.
Yeah.
Which I thought that was cool, because to me, in the next scene, Metal Gear Ray shoots what I thought was a laser. But it's actually Thomasing.
It's just a high pressurized water gun.
That is cool. And you can tell because in the previous cutscene, there's bodies in the water as Metal Gear Ray has its head underwater, and the bodies get closer to Ray. So you can tell it's like taking in, it's taking in the water, which is cool.
It's a cool effect. And it's almost like Metal Gear is a crazy idea on paper anyway. But the idea of having a high-pressure water cannon instead of a laser gun, it's almost like, oh, okay, that's tangible.
I guess, too, like, to have it amphibious as opposed to aerial makes more sense. I think it's an easier way to escape.
Yeah, if the thing lives in water, that's like infinite ammo.
Yeah, and that water cannon is no joke because that's how it escapes.
Yeah,
it creates...
It's so strong that it slices a hole in the hull of the ship. And it escapes through that hole, and thus, sinking the tanker in the process.
And Snake drowns? Just kidding. He doesn't. I was so scared. But he's our super soldier, baby. He makes it to the top of the surface to see Metal Gear Ray roar. Why are these Metal Gears always...
you gotta have something fun with these things.
Animalistic. They're always like just screaming. I don't know what button that is in the mech, but...
maybe it's the horn.
It's the horn if someone's in the way.
Can you imagine you're just driving that thing and like, and you're like, it's just some huge...
Jeez. I don't know what it is with these Metal Gears roaring. But anyway, Metal Gear Ray's above. It's amphibious. It looks great. I would love to get a model of Metal Gear Ray.
It's very sleek.
Very sleek, very cool. It cuts to the inside of the cockpit, and I forget, is it still Ocelot or is it Liquid now? I think it's Ocelot now.
Yeah, it's Ocelot.
It's Ocelot, and he's talking to someone, and he goes, yes, the plan is proceeding to plan. The plan is going...
the plan is going to plan.
Everything's going the way they need it to go. And he's saying this while looking at Snake. He doesn't bother Snake, though. He doesn't shoot at him. He doesn't stop him. He just leaves.
He just dips.
He just dips. And he lets him live, lets him escape. They also say that they have photographic evidence of Snake on the ship.
That the cipher was most useful. So Ocelot was the one that took pictures of Snake after defeating Olga. For what purpose, we don't know.
And Ocelot goes, it's all going according to plan, Mr. President.
Oh.
The president involved. Wow. Metal Gear Ray and Liquid Ocelot go away, and it cuts back to Snake, just floating in the Hudson, well, maybe the ocean by now.
Lower New York Harbor, I think they said they were in.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, maybe, like, by the Statue of Liberty. Let's say there.
So floating, and then we see his character model dip under the water.
And if you're holding a controller during this sequence, your controller vibrates a little bit, and then you hear Snake go, ugh, and then your controller stops vibrating.
Did he drown?
They make it seem like that he did.
Oh, no.
And then Otacon goes, Snake!
Is Snake okay?
I don't know.
Find out next time on the next episode of Metal Gear University.
Wow.
Everybody, thank you for tuning in. This is so far an hour and 25-minute episode, but we will probably cut it short. I'm curious to see how much it is in length. This was very fun.
This is very fun. I am...
I'm proud of us.
Yeah, I am proud of us too. Metal Gear Solid 2 is definitely the game that when we were talking about doing this podcast in general, like we were like, oh, that one's going to be tough. That's going to be tough.
So our plan for future episodes, we believe that it might take 2 more episodes to go through just the plot of it. But we do want to end this Metal Gear Solid 2 series analyzing the game, like all its themes, because these themes do come up later.
Yeah, they do. 2 is definitely the game that has the most to say.
Mm-hmm.
It, like, in terms of plot and meta narrative and just the way, like, game design as a whole, like it pokes at almost everything at what it means to be a video game.
So we're gonna get into that at the end of discussing the story of Metal Gear Solid 2. But I just wanted to give you a little heads up for future episodes. Everyone, as always, thank you so much for listening, for saying hi on Twitter, for watching, for subscribing, for leaving us ratings and reviews.
We love everything about you guys.
Thank you so much.
I mean, I feel like I say this every episode, but I feel like for me, I started this podcast not expecting anything in return.
Someone right now is like, okay, guys, shut up.
Yeah, I know a lot of people are tuning out, but I am very grateful for everyone, even the ones that tuned out right now. I'm very grateful to all of them.
Look forward to another episode in 2 weeks. We'll be back again with the Planter chapter of Metal Gear Solid 2, right? Planter?
Plant chapter.
Plant. I'm sorry.
It's fine. It's been a long day.
The Plant chapter of Metal Gear Solid 2. Wow, fake fan over here. Everyone, have a great morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you may be. We'll see you soon.
Bye, guys.
Till next time. Bye.